Isaac.
Anthony.
Podcast number, I always forget.
12.
Is it actually 12?
This
I
will be
think
12.
this is 12.
Yeah, because 11 goes up today.
Yes, that's right.
So
Okay.
Number 10's a short one.
No. Number 9 was the short one.
Number 9's a short one.
9 was our little
10's
mishap.
stress.
Yeah.
Yep.
11 is...
11 is gut health.
I don't know. I think we're all backwards.
Yeah,
We
no.
mixed it up.
11 is stress, 10 is gut health,
Yeah, that's
9
what
is
it is.
hot and cold.
Got you.
That was the one that was super short.
That's the one.
That was
Yeah.
the 13-minute one.
Yep.
What's up? What's up? Today we talk about stress management techniques, right?
Yeah, stress management. We did stress, now we're going to
Yeah.
do stress management. How to manage what's going on in your system.
And why?
Why do we want to manage stress?
This is like a lot of things.
Yeah.
That is a lot of things.
I think we should start with the most simple. Breathing.
I was going to say, yeah, the
Right.
easiest thing to do is just kind of like separate yourself from just everything. Just get in a nice quiet spot, whether you're doing it right before bed, if your significant other's already asleep,
Yeah.
just sit on the end of the bed and breathe,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, that's actually the easiest way to do it, because when you think about laying down to go to sleep, you're usually still mulling over whatever's going on. Maybe you're having a conversation, and it's like it's weird too, because Kate did this last night. Sorry. Like I'm literally laying there. I take one deep breath. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I'm yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
she was getting
yeah.
ready for me to like be upset about something. Like the lights are on.
Because-
She's like,
yeah,
what's
that's
the
right.
matter? I'm like,
Because people will be like,
nothing.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Because now that I think about it, David does the same. Because I do that. Because I'll sit there, I'll just be sitting on the couch and I just go, because it comes to mind that I've just been going,
Mm-hmm.
I've been like really shallow breathing, and so I'll just take a really big deep breath, and he's like, "Are you okay?" Or he's like, "Why are you sighing?" I'm like, "No, I'm just breathing."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
And I mean, I will say this in her defense. Usually, before I get angry at something, I just like, I do that.
You're like,
Yeah, and like I do it for like.
Hey, I
8
can
seconds.
see you doing that too.
Yeah, I do it for that like, hey, just take a second. So
Like
when
imaginary steam.
Yeah. And she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm in the kitchen. I'm about to make food. I'm just trying to get a plan together. So I took a breath. Like I got stuff. I got to cook. I got 3 things going on. Like, just.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but yeah, so you're breathing. Obviously, the easiest place to
Yeah.
start,
Breathing,
but
yeah.
also the most apparently stressful for those around us.
But kind of the type, you kind of talked about it. You said you caught yourself like either shallow breathing, breathing too fast, or maybe not breathing, and then you're like, there's that deep breath, right?
Mhm.
But basically, we should be breathing in and out through our mouth, nothing goes through the nose, especially when we're sleeping, right? Sorry. Whoa, what was I talking about?
I know. I was like,
Whoops.
I'm not
so
a mouth
we
breather,
should be
though.
breathing in and out
rewind
through our
back to where we
nose.
said we didn't fire Isaac, and we fired Isaac.
Gone. The laptop falls. So, you can't. We want to breathe in and out through our nose, not through our mouth.
Yeah. Nose goes, literally nose goes.
Yeah. And the reason, because the nose will filter, it'll moisten, and warm.
I thought I was bad.
Yeah, the air. You jinxed it, man.
I did. I
We're
screwed
in a
up earlier.
weird place today. That's what's happening.
It's Friday. That's
So it's kind of like that first line of defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what bothers me though is I love I've been seeing a lot of videos come up on like Facebook and Instagram of like waxing videos of just like, you know, people being like, I want to try out these, you know, wax beads or whatever. And so I've been watching them because I just think it's interesting, especially the ones where like the guys get
I
their
don't
face.
even know what that is.
Oh, I'll send you like where the guys that get their
waxing
face.
ones, those are weird.
No, but it's awesome though. But it's like it's so pretty after the end. Like your face looks all smooth. But anyway, that's like I've come across a couple of those. But ones that I've been seeing even more now is people waxing their nose. Is like having the wax put into the nose and the hair's being pulled out, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. You need your little hairs in your nose. Like
I have a
you
good
need
story
it.
for that.
Ready, go.
So Heather
Oh my gosh.
bought a new, like, you know, those nose trimmers,
Yeah.
right? The ones you get and you can use for like neck hair and all that unwanted hair. So then that neck hair was for me, right? Not for her. But then she did it to her nose, and she stuck the thing in there and went, and I do it. I'm brushing my teeth, and I just hear zzz, and I'm like, oh. I was like, well, she's got to do the other side. So she does the other side. I'm like, babe, why'd you do that? She's like, what? I'm trimming my nose hairs. like nothing, like no idea what she just did. I'm like, you know, like that's important, right? Like that's there for a reason. It
Yeah.
filters and it's like blocking and holding on. That's what boogers are.
Yeah, like they
It's
hold
just
on to the
literally-
mucus. Like
Yeah.
all of that's there for a reason.
And she's like, oh, I'm like, eesh, it's gonna be a rough few days. And sure enough, she was like,
Is
just
that why she's
had.
been all sinusy sounding?
No, this happened a long time
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Yeah, now it's just allergies.
Okay.
But there was one time where there was no allergies, no anything, and she was just miserable. It was so funny, and I was just every single time I saw her, I was like, "It's your fault. Look what you did to yourself." But yeah,
Oh my
absolutely, you don't
gosh.
want to nuclear bomb your nose hairs because that's
you need
important.
them. You need them. They're very important.
Yeah, I have. So I've had my nose waxed. Like I've actually.
Oh,
done
so
that.
you've
Have
done
you
it
really?
too? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was a while back, and I didn't realize the value of it at that time, but like.
Of the nose wax?
No, the nose. Like yeah. Oh my god.
I'm gonna try and confuse you.
Yeah. No, it was like, and they.
And then there was one.
There's only one left. But it was what she did is she put the nose like wax up in there, like I mean it like in there, and then she's like, all right, hang on 1 second, and
Oh my
boom,
gosh.
I'm like,
I can't imagine. Like I've like
It hurts.
felt.
Your eyeball went through your nose. Oh shit, my eye.
yeah, and it was and she's like, oh look at what we got, and like you can see all the hairs. I mean, like yeah, obviously you got nose hairs. You want to trim them up so they're not like just out of your nose.
But like just here.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I mean that's
so
understandable
visible.
so that you can't see. Like
Yeah,
that's
like,
fine.
that's
I
a
mean
good
I don't
dog.
expect you
Yeah.
guys to be walking around with like forests coming out of your noses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's all
I mean you can trim right here, but we need everything that's up in our nose. Like,
connects to
we
your
need
mustache.
Oh, I'm sure there's probably a reason for that too. Think about it, like
For the
the
what?
facial hair.
Oh, the facial
Like,
hair? Oh,
'Cause-
yeah.
And I mean, it's true. Men and women, they'll both get some sort of like buzz
Yeah.
up
That's
here.
true. Absolutely.
So it's gotta be a reason
Some
why
women,
that's.
you even see it down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's funny, when you can tell that they'll shave it, or they used to shave it,
Mhm.
and now it's like they actually got like an actual hair.
Yeah, it's like that
just
one
there.
ball.
I'm like, ooh, he used to shave that, huh?
It's just-
You're probably like 12 years old and you're like, what the fuck, am I
Yeah.
a man? And then started shaving it.
Yeah, that's like the weirdest thing is like being a girl and like
It's super
all
scary.
your friends, all your male friends are like getting beards, and then all of a sudden you start seeing a little bit of going on. And you're like,
Some
oh my
buzz,
gosh,
yeah.
what's happening here?
But
I
it's-
bleached my mustache for like the longest time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's better than shaving it.
I would prefer to do that over shaving, but
Yeah.
even then it doesn't feel good.
Oh,
But
yeah?
it can
I didn't know
burn,
bleach
yeah.
is- yeah.
It's
Oh.
like bleach.
yeah, like
Oh, I thought
yeah,
that
like
was
hair
just-
bleach. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like hair bleach, but it's
Oh,
the same thing. You're
shit.
still
Yeah.
you're still putting that like right here above your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, I stopped doing that a long time ago, but yeah, I did it. I did
see.
it for a little bit.
No, yeah.
But I was like, no, I was like, I mean, it is what it is.
No, yeah. My mom told me when I was a little kid, she's like, yeah, this stuff's normal. It's like everybody has it. I'm like, oh. And then that was it. It was
Yeah.
cool. It's normal.
See, and that's what it should be.
Yeah,
You know, I
it's-
mean, you should
it
never be
wasn't
afraid that.
like-
I mean, hair is hair. It's not a big deal. We're going in a weird direction today.
We can. I got a loop for it. I got a loop.
Okay.
I got a loop.
It's Tony's fault.
Good.
Yeah, I've always got the loop.
It's your fault.
Yeah. But so when you think about that, like it's you think about it. His mom normalized it. If all people did that with certain things, it would actually decrease the stress that we have. 'Cause societal stress is all based off a preconceived notion of
What
what
it
it's supposed
should
to
be. Yeah.
Exactly. So we didn't really go that far off topic.
Well, because I have something to say that's like
He
really
saved
off
it.
topic, but
Oh.
it's like
I
just
could
something that my
probably bring it
mom.
back.
Stand
You
up.
probably can. I feel like you can.
I
My mom
No, but
has
you're
always
absolutely
said
right.
this, like, all my life. She's like, never trust a woman that says she doesn't fart.
Yeah.
She's like, never. I'm like, I don't get it. Like,
Mhm.
you know, to me, I'm like, people get embarrassed to talk to me about, oh, you know, excuse me, I don't want to be vulgar, but I've got some digestive issues. I'm like, that is not vulgar. That is completely natural. Don't ever, if you are having diarrhea, and it's because of something that, you know, we've been introducing, tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me, don't be afraid of that.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
interesting too, because this is, I mean, literally, I can look back in, because I had a conversation with Ava about that, because Katie was said something about her, like, pooping or not pooping or whatever it was. And I was like, really? And I was like, Ava, when was the last time you were at the bathroom? She was like, earlier today. I was like, did you poop? She's like, I'm not telling you. I'm like, you're 7. Why wouldn't you tell me whether or not you pooped? So, I mean, like, you can see it's already
Mhm.
there, and it is. It's a societal thing. Women don't poop, they don't fart, they burp, maybe. Some of them do, some of them don't.
Wait, you're telling me they do?
They do. Yeah.
They do.
Everybody
We
poops.
do.
Yeah.
I have competitions with the
Everybody
guys.
Like,
Dude, you know, when I first heard my mom fart, oh, dude, it was like Christmas. I was like, you do fart!
No, my
I was
sister.
like
It's a real thing.
13. And yeah, and I just heard something. I was like, I looked right at her and I smiled and I was like, is that you, Mom? She was like, nope.
Nope.
I was like, okay.
Okay.
I was like, yeah.
My sister, one of my cousins genuinely believed that women didn't fart, that they couldn't.
Wow.
Because my aunt, she would leave the room.
She the ruler of North Korea?
Yeah.
And just, she would leave the room.
Yeah.
Go do that, wouldn't come back, and then, nothing
Yeah.
happened. And so, but that was just her, that's fine, whatever, that's on you.
Yeah.
But my cousin genuinely
That's
believed
so
that
funny.
women didn't fart. Of course, he comes to come visit us, who, my family is, the most oversharers that you will ever meet in your entire life. And we don't care. It's natural bodily function. Like you said, my family normalized that. It is what it is. It's fine. Don't be obnoxious and don't do it in public.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. So my sister, we're walking up the stairs, and my sister farts. My cousin literally stopped dead in his tracks and was like, who did that?
Violates the laws of physics.
And my sister was like, I farted. It was just a little, not even anything big. And he was just so dumbfounded. Mind you, he's 12 at the time.
Yeah.
But he was so dumbfounded in the fact that he was like, I genuinely believe that women didn't do that. Genuinely believed. And I'm
It's
like,
so
yes.
funny. And that's
It's
just
fine.
back to the whole cultural thing, and it shocks us. And that's stress.
Yeah.
That is stress,
And
yeah.
but that's exactly it.
And that should just, whoa, oh, okay. And that's a good stress response, right?
Yeah.
But if it's something bigger, which there are issues that are bigger where people are like, that's not right.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening or something, then it's like, that's stressful. You're stressing yourself out.
Well, and that goes back to it. And I hate to single out females, but this is the big thing. Because a lot of women they believe I'm not supposed to do this, I'm not supposed to have this happen. But like you said, you're not just sitting there going like.
You're not going to just sit there and
yeah.
rip one in public. It is what it is. You go to the bathroom, that's fine. But if you're around your family or around the people that you're with, you shouldn't. If you got to fart, you got to fart. It's not a big deal.
But that becomes a stressor. So when you think about it, you're out in public, or not even out in public, but you're with somebody new and you're not sure how they're going to react to it, and you're holding it in. And now from a stress standpoint, that's just stress building. And then of course, it's supposed to be out of your system. So now you're holding in something that's bad for your system, something that should be leaving your system, and it's just holding it in there. And of course, that for you is more stressful. And then everyone's been in that situation where you're like, you gotta fart. You're just like, I can't really do this.
And it's in a really horrible situation.
Yeah,
you're like, I can't do this. I can't.
You're in the middle of an interview and you're like, yes, I would love to talk longer. Topic, yeah. It beads of sweat everywhere. Are you nervous? I am nervous, but not about what you think. I'm nervous
Definitely not about this position.
Yeah, I'm nervous about this. Yeah.
I'm nervous. And can we get this over with?
Yeah, I got a thing. I gotta go. But that is. That's the baseline of stress, because we create stress where there doesn't need to be stress, which goes back to what we had talked about last week about arguments. We create arguments where we don't need to have arguments over things that we misperceive or whatever, and we just create a situation where you're like, oh, here's what I think is going on, and I make it bigger. So with stress, it's the same thing, because going back to Larry, we worry about things that are never going to happen. We worry about things that have happened in the past that we can't fix. When you're and this is the yoga principle, live in the moment. Pilates principle too. Live in the moment, be in the moment. Yeah, you've got stuff down the road. You've got other things you need to focus on. But right now, how much of that can you control? How much of that can you change? How much of it can you fix? If you're running late and you can't get the dogs outside, because we've all been there, we're not dogs outside, but
feeding them, because
yeah.
they get fed at a certain time. So.
Yeah. And it's like, oh crap, I'm stuck in traffic. And at this point, yeah, I can worry the dog's gonna go to the bathroom in the house. I'm 15 minutes away from my house. If they have, they've probably already done it by now. If they're not going to, they haven't. There's no middle ground. There's no gray area.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you open the door.
If it happened, it happened.
Yeah, it's like, okay, get a paper towel.
Whether it happens right after I walk in or right before I walk in.
Yeah.
And
usually it's not it won't happen right as you're walking in. It's like one of those things, they'll run to the door.
The stress response.
They bounce off the door. They're like, okay, we can go now.
Gotta
the
go
car
to the bathroom.
pulls up and they're like, he's here.
Finally, we can go. But that's the whole thing. You can worry about that dog going to the bathroom in the house. You can worry about the dog eating your couch.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen? Is it likely it's going to happen?
I get on my way to, Athena, man, she's on a roll, so let's not jinx it, but, right, that's real wood, by the way.
That is real wood.
But she was always having trouble peeing or pooping in the house, and there for a time, it was crazy. I would catch myself just worrying the
Yeah.
whole drive back. And it just like, as soon as I'm walking up to the house, and that feeling of like,
Oh, it's gonna be here.
it's gonna be right there, and sure enough, boom, and it's right there, right? So it's crazy what it does. And then again, because you've been anticipating it, the response is over the top.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Because when you think about it, and that's, again, it's a stress response, and you've built up your own stress. So fight or flight is something's attacking you, or something's coming after you, or you're running from something.
A shock.
Yeah. So it should be sudden, it should be over. You've built up the fight or flight response to get angry, and in this case at the dog, for something that is normal, natural. It's going to happen. You're still learning how to use the toilet.
Probably your fault.
Yeah.
It's always our fault.
9 times out of 10. It's, okay.
Aries has never messed up.
Yeah.
Either it was my fault or he had diarrhea.
Oh,
and it's like,
yeah. That's like, I can't get mad.
I got home and it was on the, not all over the place, it was just on the ground. There's shit everywhere.
That makes me think of, what movie was it? Daddy Daycare. I missed.
Yeah.
Oh, damn,
Oh my
Aries
gosh.
would be a bad miss.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and it's diarrhea. We know what poop's supposed to look like. And I'm just like, it's all right, buddy. And he's just like,
Yeah.
So nervous.
it's
Like, it's okay.
you just kind of like, whatever, but you just deal with it.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is.
And that's,
But kind of where mouth breathing comes in, because if we don't get the proper carbon dioxide balance and levels in and out, right, we don't get enough oxygen to the brain. And where do we make our decisions? From the brain.
Yeah.
So we can overreact. We can all of this. There's that video we both saw. I think we referred to it a while back, or back and forth. But how they say mouth breathing affects your IQ. It'll actually decrease your IQ. And there's been some studies done on that. And
Yeah, we'll put the link here again.
there we go. Wow.
Cool.
Oh, dude, you better get that perfect, Tony.
Well, no, I put the link in the description.
Oh.
And but that goes back to when you think about the breathing, carbon dioxide builds up. When you have an excess of carbon dioxide in your system, you're burning it through more sugar. So eventually, cognitive function is going to decline because of the fact that
Yeah, 11 now.
We're all just messing up today.
That's it. Let's just spend the rest of the
Now-
time breathing.
Honestly, that would help.
Yeah.
I feel like,
So, but yeah, you had that cognitive decline. Your sugar levels are dropping. Your blood sugar levels are dropping. Your cortisol is going up. Now you're creating a stressful situation, which is of course inflammatory in the body, and it's all because you're not getting air in. And this is, and we talked about it before. We've all talked about it before. Breathing is one of those things. We think it's fundamental. We think it's innate, and it is. Like you look at kids, they breathe right. You look at dogs, they breathe right. That goes back to the sighing before bed.
Yeah.
Whenever you see a dog lay down, it's
Yep.
like you
That
hear
is
it.
so funny.
And they're never breathing through the mouth unless it's to cool themselves down. But most land animals, if they're like cows and horses,
My cat sigh.
if they're
And it's
breathing through the
hilarious.
mouth, it means they're sick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
The
cats
dogs,
too.
yeah.
Cats fall under that. If they're breathing through the mouth, it means there's distress of some sort.
Yeah, because
Right.
Jax, when I first got him, he was a little sick, and he would sit there and he'd kind of just go,
So crazy.
and it's just because
Yeah.
his nose was so stopped up, he couldn't. But
There
he
you
wasn't.
go.
He
Yeah.
wasn't having any drainage, and so when we got his antibiotics and stuff, because
It
he had a
started to
little
drain or
sickness, and
something.
he was able to breathe through his mouth again,
And-
or his nose again.
And that's what he preferred.
And he's fine, and it's no big deal now. But it's just funny because Poof, she's the larger of all of my cats, but she is so funny that when she gets ready to go to bed, she gets comfortable and she goes,
Athena
Like,
does
I
that.
wish I could get that, because I never catch it on video because she doesn't ever do it all the time. But it's funny because she'll get,
That's hilarious.
and like get comfy, and it's just funny.
Athena's
just like-
Athena's is more like, like very like grunty, like.
So cute though.
And she does it every night, right
That is
when
so
it's time for bed. She's
funny.
like, or she'll jump on the couch and she'll like dig herself in, and she's like, It's
Yeah.
so
That is
hilarious.
So funny.
Yeah.
But think about it, that's the getting rid of the carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
still expelling all that crap out of their lungs, and it's like, okay, cool. Now that it's all out, I'm going to get a nice, good inhale on the next one, and then I can sleep well. I can actually rest and recover.
Preps the system.
Yeah. And so when you think about that, we talked about that with vitamin D and some other things. Like animals know what to do. They don't learn what not to do because what they do works for their systems. So like laying in the sun. Okay, it's 100 degrees outside. You're covered in fur. You're laying in the sun. Why would you do that? Like you wouldn't go outside with a jacket on. In the middle of the summer, you'd be like, screw this. I'm gonna take this off. dogs know I'm going to get some sort of benefit from being out here and just hanging out and breathing in the sunlight.
Because they just feel better.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I feel better out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we always tell everybody. It's all about feel. It's all about feeling better. And breathing will make you feel better. And I mean, if you're watching this, because I've done this with a couple clients recently, like, you know, just sit there and while we're talking about this, take like 3 super big breaths. And when you do that, by the time that third breath comes out, it's like, wow.
It is amazing how good you feel.
When you exhale, just carefully set it down. And by the third one, you're like, man, it's like clear headspace.
Yeah.
Well, I can say the same thing about like the sauna now, because after going into the sauna, it's to the point like when I go into the sauna now, I feel good. Like I walk in and I'm just like, oh, it feels good. Yeah. Like it's not so much as like a.
Does that mean
like I still don't
the body's like,
love.
oh yes, we're about to feel great.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I feel now. So it's almost like an immediate like, whew.
And I love it.
I don't love being in the hot. Like that's fine. But it's just I can feel that my body enjoys it, and it's not as terrible of a horrible thing going in there anymore where I'm like.
And that's an environment where you're like, I'm supposed to be sweaty.
Yeah.
If you're out walking, shopping, and you're sweating, you're like, what the man?
And it's an ugly feeling. I don't want to be like slick and gross. Like that's not okay. Like that's not.
I like doing the sauna specifically to practice the nose breathing. It's just like. And now 20 minutes is so easy. Yeah. It's a breeze.
Did you try the breathing thing I told you with the like being in the sauna all through the nose, and like how if you focus on your breathing, it'll actually cool you off better?
Yes. And that's why I was able to. I didn't drink water.
Yeah.
I drank water at the very beginning, like by the third minute, I was like, oh, let me just drink water.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. Like when I started feeling, I think 16 minutes, I felt like maybe I was going towards that, like, oh, this is about to get hard. And that's when I made it a point. I stopped on my toe exercises and I focused on the breathing. And instantly. But heart.
Yeah. Oh, and it takes a ton of work, because if you let it go too long and you're doing it, this is why when I was telling you I was doing the push-ups, like I broke it down into time, like small enough time or small enough movements where I can do it. Now I can go through the whole Pilates sequence in there. I can do the push-ups in there. And you're used to controlling your breathing, and you know where to stop so that you're not overexerting yourself to the point where you can't recuperate.
Exactly. Even when I was stretching, it was like too far, and then I noticed my breath would just go, and it's like, okay, I gotta reset and do it again, and it's cool.
I mean, if you're watching it takes focus. Like, so don't get upset if you're not doing it. Like we talked about the toe thing last time, talking about breathing now. Like it takes a lot of work. So we sit here and we talk about it like it's easy because it's been time and over time and over time. Yeah. But it's not that easy. In the beginning, if you're a mouth breather, you have to relearn how to breathe through your nose. If you're used to always breathing in out of your mouth when you move, it's going to take time to get conditioned to it. It's going to be hard to get conditioned to it.
Yeah.
Well, you can use that in terms of like my posture stuff. Is that I know what I should be doing, as we all kind of go.
Again.
But it's like my body is so used to having my shoulders rolled forward that it's a slow process of bringing everything back. And it's gotten better. It's definitely gotten better within the last 6 to 8 months. But I mean, I still have places to go. And I still find myself leaning forward, hunching forward. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, okay, gotta reset everything. But it's a matter of just being aware of it,
And it's being okay with being aware of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, it feels awkward. I don't want to do it.
I think people should know that we're meant to breathe through the nose. I don't know if it's a thing to. Well, I know that I used to be told when we were running in through the nose, out through the mouth, but there's tribes and people who have followed tribes around, Indian tribes, and they're just following whatever they're hunting, and they're breathing through the nose the entire time, and they're running. They're running like 60 miles a day, and they're breathing through the nose the entire time. So we're meant to breathe.
I never understood the breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Yeah, I don't
know. I remember someone told me that once upon a time.
I never, because I was like in junior high, and I'm like, all right, you're the coach, you know more than me. And then I just stopped. Again, I just naturally said, man, I feel better when I'm doing it through the nose because I feel like I'm more in control. And so kind of paying attention to the body, feeling.
Yeah. It's self-regulating.
Yeah. Dang, mouth breathing sucks. Nose breathing, great.
Like it's my least favorite thing. It's like when I get sick and I can't breathe through my nose and I have to be a mouth breather when I'm sleeping.
I hate life.
Just everything is so dry. I hate it.
I'll deal with coughs, aches in my body, throwing up, diarrhea. I don't care, but when I can't breathe in my nose, I'm miserable. Leave me alone.
My mouth is just dry and nasty. It's like
I know I don't like it. Gross. wake up in a puddle of drool and my mouth is dry and I'm like, this is so not okay.
That's probably the best thing for managing stress. Is we started with it. It's the most simplest because you do it literally all day and all night. You could even tape your mouth.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's like a new
at
thing,
night.
like to retrain.
Don't they
your body.
have like a specific tape where it's still kind of poured?
Yeah, it just
But-
so it limits it, so it kind of forces you more to breathe.
Yeah, it's like, and then your body's like, it's easier to let it out here. But your sleep quality goes through the roof because you're getting more oxygen, or you're getting more of a balanced oxygen and everything.
Awesome.
What's some? We mentioned sauna, so and we've talked. We've touched on the sauna. I was just practicing on the other episodes, right? So we know how that's super beneficial. What's your favorite? That's my favorite. Besides breathing, but that's my favorite technique.
I think the sauna's good. The sauna in the pool, like being in the hot or being in the cold, is great because you can also add the breathing to it. But it comes back to the breathing being the base.
Yeah.
But it's always that you can add one more thing, 2 birds, 1 stone type thing.
Yeah.
I think for mood, the cold water is better. For stress, the sauna's better.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it does help to de-stress the body, unloads anything that's in your system that may be slowing you down. You're going to get rid of any excess water, decrease inflammation. Obviously, if you had a crappy meal, it's going to help pull any of that extra salt out of your system as well.
I think another really good thing that's good for stress, like management, is exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but it's, I mean, the only thing is that this is something I actually just talked to my team class about. I brought up the fact that, towards the end of the year, more people get sick, so we were talking about nutrition and, how to, eat and what to do if you do get sick, and, the question did come up, like, well, what about exercise and sickness? Which, in sickness, we'll just kind of change that over to stress, because, sickness is essentially a stress on the body. You can absolutely exercise when you're sick. Unless, of course, you're, like,
well, you definitely
profusely
just don't want to
vomiting,
do high
but-
intensity.
Yeah,
But
you just want to do something
You can
moderate.
definitely exercise.
You can come in and you can do like recovery type cardio. There's nothing wrong with that. Very, very mild weights if your body can manage that. If you're not, just listen to your body at the same time.
I would even say the low zone cardio is still managed. Like, don't even do longer than 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Because it's
exactly.
still taxing on the body.
Yeah, honestly, with that, I definitely wouldn't do more than 30 or 40 minutes, maybe 45
I
minutes
have
exercise.
people do like heavy, 4 sets of 5 or 5 sets of 6 compound movements to really slow down the workout, but it focuses more on like the nervous system, turning things on there, and
that's good.
So it's a different type of tax. I kind of just approach it like someone who's like in stage 3 adrenal fatigue is basically how I approach it. But yes, exercise, because you're sweating, your body's dealing with a stress, and you're responding to it right after with
Absolutely.
that endorphin rush.
But it's funny to mention that because when you think about adrenal fatigue, when you get sick, it's usually after something. So I've given this example
it's
before.
so cool how that works.
Like if you have a wedding coming up, a graduation, or a test, or a presentation
something
due,
that
or
was
something.
taxing on your mind,
As
Literally
soon as
everything that I've been going through for the past 4 months.
Someone's gonna get sick soon.
especially during flu season.
Oh, good lord, you're a target.
I know I am.
You're doing
a
the
target.
sauna, and you're drinking
And that's
more
exactly
fluids.
what it is. Like, my personal goals,
How many vitamin D units are you doing a day?
I don't know. I'm taking 1 pill of the vitamin D that we have a
That's
day.
5,000. The Supreme.
5,000, yeah.
Yeah,
I do
doing
too.
that. I probably should do too.
Yeah.
Especially because my vitamin D levels are low in the
Oh, you should definitely
beginning.
do too.
So,
With fat.
with fat. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But like my personal goals were always lose, body fat percentage. And then the semester started, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen because I don't have time to come in and
Maintain
do
sanity.
that. And so for me, exactly, that is my goals went from, okay, well I can't do the whole leaning out thing because I don't have the time for that. So for me right now, my goal is health. And right now it's sauna, it's making sure I'm taking my multivitamins, making sure that I'm eating nutritious food, making sure that when I do come in here that it's, it's maybe 30 minutes of cardio is just because for me that's just the easiest thing for me to do versus coming in.
You should do a cold shower right before you study.
Honestly, yeah, I feel like that would be a really good idea.
Too.
The cold would probably be better for you.
Because when you're high stress, you're just like we talked about, wasting nutrients. Now you're going to sweat whatever you didn't waste out.
Absolutely.
So going the other way, going cold, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be comfortable, but it could help.
But
obviously,
it
mood,
saves
stress.
the sweating of the nutrients. And then from another standpoint, the neurogenesis, you're creating new brain cells and they're maturing instantly because of the cold.
Yeah.
So you're going to study right away. So it's like the perfect time to retain that information.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah, that'd be cool.
It's-
That'd be
I'm
cool.
always
Try
used
that.
to.
You
I've
should try
done
that
it,
for
yeah.
a week, and
I'll
then
try it.
try the hot for a week, and then just kind of see which one you
one
felt.
goes better.
Because
Yeah, I can try
then
it.
it's just again feel.
Yeah,
Because
which one feels
some
better.
bodies, like Heather, hates cold, and she probably would. Well, after a week of doing it, the body might make the shift of adjusting, but she
Well,
would.
for me, I hate
much,
hot. Like, I don't mind cold. I hate hot. I don't like hot.
So cold might be even better.
And so for me,
that
cold
reason
might be a
too.
better option.
That's cool.
But like, I always got sick.
Yeah.
Like when I was getting my bachelor's degree, like I got sick the end of every single semester. By the time that finals were starting to come, like I pretty much had hit adrenal fatigue to the point where I was just done.
Do you stress during the finals and during exam time?
Oh yeah, midterms for me this semester was crazy,
Gotcha.
and I'm actually incredibly very proud of myself that I didn't get sick right after midterms. I was convinced that I was going to, because I was so stressed out. I was so lack of sleep. Midterms for me was a nightmare. That whole next week, I made sure I came in here, made sure I was doing the sauna, made sure I was doing mild exercise. That was the week that I did the most exercise. Was that week right after midterms. I didn't get sick. And like for me, like right now, my goal is to not get sick. My goal is to not get sick. Is for health. And so I'm like, you know what? That's just gonna have to be my.
In man, forever since I became a trainer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's like what my goals are. Is that I don't want to, that you can go through and not get sick and stay healthy. And it's like
Generation you can pops up.
Yeah.
Pop.
Well, put it up there.
The flavor.
But yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean that's what I'm gonna be trying to do. I do want to try the cold
Yeah, I should
therapy. I
try
think that would be cool.
I think what makes the cold better and easier is knowing what it does. Because I remember we talked about it when we went to New Orleans, and then I remember watching a video on like cold showers and everything else, and the guy even said it. He's like, "I'm about to step into this ice cold shower. Why am I doing this?" And it didn't make any sense at the time. And it was a TED talk, and it was different. It was about getting out of your comfort zone and things like that. And he was told by this guy, he's like, if you want to be successful in business, take a cold shower. And the guy's like, well, why? He's like, just take a cold shower for a week and then come back and see me on like Monday. Okay. So he does it, and he started realizing, like, as the end of the week went on, he's like, it's uncomfortable and it sucks, but I feel so much better after I get it done. And they, of course, relate it back to business, and you have to go out of your comfort zone to see success in business, whether you're training or whatever it is. But when you look at what we do it for, yeah, you feel uncomfortable while it's happening. Inflammation goes down. Your literally fat utilization goes through the roof because you have to produce more heat. You're uncomfortable for a limited period of time, but the benefits of it, like Isaac was saying, the neurogenesis, your brain starts working better the second you step out of that shower. So that alone, especially as a student, it solves all your problems. From an inflammation standpoint, if you're inflamed, your brain is going to start slowing down. You can't see success in the gym because you're inflamed. All you have to do is be uncomfortable for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is,
Yeah, there's
see more to
different
change.
forms of it. You could even do an ice bath for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Just 20 seconds as opposed to like a 10-minute. I think I'd rather deal with 20 seconds of extreme cold than your what you did out there this morning, the 10 minutes of that in and out of the cold.
Yeah.
Like, that's just my, maybe that might change if I did
Yeah.
it, but when I did that ice bucket challenge, like, I didn't mind it. So I wouldn't mind 20 seconds of that, like, pins and needles all through my body.
Because I think that's fair too. Because it's like whenever being here in Texas, you ever go to the Frio River, like if you go out really, really early in the morning before anybody's out there. We used to go there for a whole week over the summer when I was in high school. And you go out real, real early, pretty much right after the sun has risen. There's little fishies in the water. Nothing's disturbed. It's quiet. The water is cold. The water is cold. And there's rope swings. You go just get on the rope swing, go jump in the water. You are awake.
Yeah.
You are very much awake.
Yeah.
But then and then it goes away. You get used to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You get out and you do it again, and then, haha, that's funny. You getting out and getting back in, and and then eventually it's not cold anymore. It's not. You don't notice it anymore.
And
It feels better to be in the water than it does to be out of the water.
Yeah,
So-
that's definitely true.
You know,
That was super true.
Yeah.
it's just you get used to it.
But I mean, that goes back to when you think about when you're a kid and you're doing stuff like that, you accept the cold more because it's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Adults don't do that because you're an adult and no one's going to tell you to be uncomfortable whether or not it's going to benefit you. I don't want to be uncomfortable because I'm a grown-ass man, and I'm not going to be uncomfortable. And that's their mindset, and that's the worst part.
I feel like that's
a lot
fair.
of the resistance to when I mention to people to try a cold shower is more so they're like, why? I don't have to do it. Like, a hot shower is fine. I feel better.
Yeah, I can afford heat. I can afford the water heater. It's not about that. It's about this is going to have such a profound impact on
It's
you.
an actual, science.
I mean, I remember, so I grew up in New York, and I swear to God, there was no ceiling in the house. Even when it was middle of winter, everything was closed, the heat was on. You got out of that shower, and it was 30 degrees. I don't care if it wasn't or not. It felt like it was 30 degrees. You get out of the shower and but you'd be awake, you'd feel better. You didn't want to get out of the shower. Like no one ever said, I want the shower to end. Like it's too hot in here. Like you got out and it was like, oh God. But you feel amazing. And then we talked about that with the hot and cold one. You would walk through campus and stuff, and you would feel like you'd get hit in the face with that cold air, and it was like, okay, I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm ready to go. You didn't enjoy it, but the benefits of it, knowing the benefits of it, it makes it enjoyable. Like guys were saying, this morning I went outside, and I did a 10-minute alternating dip, and I would literally, I got in the water, I got out of the water, I basically stood there, I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast.
Which one?
It was the one with Brendan Schwab, and they were going over the
fight
recap.
Yeah, the one we saw.
I'm still halfway through that because it's 3 hours long.
Dude, that was so long, yeah.
And I'm getting out.
I've only gotten halfway through that one too.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am. And every time I would get out, I would just basically wait for the water to stop dripping off me, then get back in. I wasn't getting dry by any stretch of the imagination, but once I stopped dripping, hop back in the water. And it got to, I want to say, third or fourth round in, I started shivering like crazy. And in my head, I knew why I was doing it. And of course, I started laughing because I'm like, I can see the people walking by over here, in the front of the building.
That dude is crazy.
And because it's still about 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, oh, there's not that many people going by. We hear car doors going by, and I'm hopping in the water, hopping out. And I'm like, God, if anyone knew what I was doing right now, they'd think I was insane.
Yeah.
And it is, but it's the benefit behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did it a little, I think it was 10 o'clock maybe. And the lifeguard was doing her thing on the inside of the pool, and she saw me through the thing, and she was just like, what the fuck? And
what are you doing?
And then to walk back to the door, you're like,
yeah.
Oh, God. And you walk in when it's cold inside, and you're just like, oh, this ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because once you hit that pool deck, it's super easy.
Yeah. How cold do you think it is out there at that pool? 60? 65?
No, I
70?
think I keep hearing different things about the pool. I don't know if it's actually heated or not.
Dude, I would assume it's heated because it seemed pretty warm. But
water
is it just
holds
insulated?
heat more. Yeah. Because when you think about the water, and this is oceans, rivers, things. Well, not rivers so much, but the ocean holds heat a lot longer. That's why you get the nor'easters. That's why you get those things because the water is holding heat because it's in the sun and it's been getting circulated around. And even though it's a large body of water, it's
like solar power
in the sun. Yeah. And what we don't think about is the pool. Even if it is being circulated around, it's still a ton of water, so it's going to stay warm. Think about a cup of coffee from Starbucks. It's 180 degrees when they serve it to you. An hour later, it's 160 degrees. So that water, even though it's in a cup and it's not that big of a volume,
is it really that hot?
Yeah, they serve it at 180.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
People drink. You drink that? You don't drink that?
I get diarrhea if I drink coffee.
Oh. But 180 degrees too?
I don't drink it, no. I wait till it cools off. That's why I was in the iced coffee.
Oh, shit, man.
I can't drink, I don't
But people drink that.
Yeah.
I drink tea. I can drink tea, but I cannot drink coffee because, because coffee is usually served stupidly hot, and two, my body does not sit well with
my
coffee.
taste buds are fried for a week and a half when I drink coffee. Or I've only had coffee 3 times.
Yeah.
Once was at New Orleans and it was spiked.
Oh, it was amazing.
Not with liquor, not with anything else. But
well, I was putting up the weather. 60 degrees today. And when I did, it was 51 degrees. That's why I put the story on.
Gotcha.
The actual temperature on it.
Gotcha. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I think the temperature was on there. Hopefully it was. But that's it. When you think about... I lost my train of thought. Oh, when you think about getting cold and doing it, last year I was out there until the water got to be 41 degrees because I wanted to see, what can you do? How far can you go? And we've talked about this before from a survival standpoint. If you've conditioned your body to do it, if you do it every single day, your body will be able to sustain it. So when you think about it, by all logical accounts, if I'm spending 10 to 15 minutes in 41 degree water, I should have had hypothermia. should have had some serious issues. But I was doing it 3 or 4 times a week. As the water was getting colder, my body got used to it. As I would get on the pool deck, that was actually the really interesting part, because the colder the water got, the hotter it felt on the pool deck. Because it got to a point where I was literally losing so much heat that my body would actually be able to produce more. Despite, so I mean, it's still 41 degrees outside, 41 degrees in the water. Once you got out of the water, you shivered, you felt like, just like...
Did you ever stop shivering?
Yeah. After a while, I did stop shivering.
That's cool.
And that was the same thing this morning. Like, that's why I kept going for the full 10 minutes, because I wanted to get to that point where I just stopped shivering.
Yeah, you did just one sauna session before that, and then did the cold, or how did you do that?
I did none. I just walked out there, got in the water.
So strictly just cold. Dude.
Yep.
That's cool.
So...
Oh, that's funny. God damn, Tony. Oh my gosh. But like, so so we fast, right? And let's say you do the sauna early in the morning. Are you hungry after the sauna? Do you break your fast and eat? No, so you can still keep it. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say, man, that's because if you did eat for whatever reason, and then you don't do it with the cold, then the cold would be, better. That's cool.
That was one of the things I was kind of worried about, is with the
you
cold.
Just get fluid after the sauna, or period.
I have literally been in the bathroom like every hour today,
just
because losing the inflammation, and I was like, God,
that's one of the big things that I focus on. Well, I told you I'm trying to do the sauna and drink water, and man, I'm going to the restroom a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like solid pee. I love it. It's like, you can tell, like, again, knowing what's happening. It's like, you're like, yes, this is
and that's
productive.
Yeah, I'm doing something. I'm not just going to the bathroom.
Productive.
I'm being productive with my urination.
Yeah.
But that's...
Some people who don't go to the restroom, like, who don't poop.
Yeah.
Because they think it's a waste of time. So they're like...
Wait, what?
Yeah, I've heard that reason.
Like that exact reason?
That exact reason. It's like, no, it takes too long. Like, why?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a fun story. My sister went, I don't really want to say vegan. She was more like a plant-based diet, but she wasn't sure what meats were causing her, like, stomach distress. And so she was like, you know what? I'm going to cut out meats. I'll start adding them in slowly. She's like, but for like a couple months, I'm just going to kind of do plant-based.
Yeah.
And so she did. She called me one day and she was like, so I just want to let you know that I ate 80 grams of fiber today. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, you mean like 80 grams of fiber? She was like, yeah. She was like, I just ate. She's like, I ate beans.
Not used to that.
And well, no, she worked up to that. By then, she had been doing it for like 3 months.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, by then she had been doing it for like 3 months.
I thought there was 80 all at like.
No, she had started working it up to it.
It's over.
And so, but she said typically it's
I'm on a
over.
roll, man. I'm on a roll.
Typically, she was eating roughly about 45, 50 grams.
Okay.
And so that was what had ended up being pretty normal for her. And she was like, today, she's like, I just want to let you know. And of course, I'm making jokes. I'm like, you're farting and you're like whistling. I guarantee it's like, whoo, like there's nothing in there. And so, but she was just like, yeah, I went to the bathroom. She's like, literally, I sat down and went, wiped once, and there was nothing. She's like, if you eat like you're supposed to,
that's true.
pooping is not a waste of time because it doesn't take long.
Well, think about it. Like, and I always go back to animals because they have a healthier system. Kids, I mean, they have a healthier system. But if you walk a dog, if you walk a dog, watch a dog, they go outside, they do what they got to do. Yeah, they may walk around for a little bit to find a spot to do it. Done.
But it's fast.
Yeah.
It's so
Little
funny.
Steve, who I still have, by the way.
I put him in the video. He was in the video. He was
that you're keeping.
That I'm
somewhere.
not. There's not. Maybe.
So when
yeah,
is there a
and
cutoff
this
date?
was in the video.
I know.
Because we talked about this. You're like, oh no, it's not gonna happen. Not
I
gonna
already
happen.
told you if it's a maybe, it's a yes.
Yeah.
As of right now, it's kind of a little bit more of a maybe. I've introduced him to the other cats now. And
Oh,
they've
you
been
never
playing.
done that before?
I hadn't. I had him separated.
It's a yes. At this
And
point,
so
it's been too long.
I've been introducing him to
Stick
the
a
cats.
fork in her, she's done.
This is like 3 weeks later. It's
I
done.
know. I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, when he goes to the
You should
bathroom,
be happy that you got a new cat.
his name is Steve.
That's okay. Katie tried to convince me to get another dog just so we can name it Steve after that.
Shut up.
Yeah, she's like, we need a Steve. I'm like, we don't need a Steve.
Yay!
2 seconds
It's
later,
crazy.
2 seconds later, I'm on Instagram, like going through the Pipple page and whatever else, and I'm like, oh, what about this one? She's like, oh, that looks like a Steve. I'm like, nah, we don't need a Steve. It's so cute, but like.
Yeah, I
Steve.
understand. Trust me, I
Like, it's
understand.
What
all
are your
back-
dog's ages?
15, 4, 2, and 2.
Wow. I've got
Yeah.
Sphinx who's like 10 or 12. We don't know. She like when I got her, the vet was like, she was like this big, and the vet was like, she's like between 4 and 6. I was like, she is like tiny. What do you mean?
Yeah.
She's
One
like
to
between
be.
4 and 6. She was like, with her teeth, like she's got to be a certain age for her teeth to be that bad. And I was like, that bad? He's like, yeah, we should probably pull some teeth. And I was like, no. So I just put her on a dental diet, and her teeth are fine now.
Yeah.
Except she did lose one, and now she drools, which is hilarious. I'll give you a picture to put up.
Thank you.
That she drools. Like David sent me a picture. He was like, "Oh my god." He's like, "She does drool," and there's like a little bloop of her like drooling on his leg. It's so funny. But so there's Sphinx, and I've got her, and she's like 11, and then Poof is 5. Jax is about 1 Poof. Guess because Poof, I brought her home without permission.
That's to be Katie with your 15th dog.
That's
Yeah.
how we got the other one.
And then Steve is like a tiny ball of
He's
knives.
like not even a year.
No, he's maybe 4 months old.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe, because I mean he's got all his baby teeth, so he's at least 4 months old. But
Yeah, crazy.
How's Aries?
They're both 2.5.
Oh, they're both the same age?
Yeah, they're brother sister.
Oh, wow. I didn't really, I knew they were like brother and sister. I didn't realize they were the same litter.
Yeah,
Because
same
obviously
litter.
Aries is like yay
Dude,
big.
yeah.
gigantic, a monster.
Yeah.
Jeez. You have a bear. He's a bear.
He is a bear.
Yeah, he looked like a polar bear cub
Yeah.
when he was a puppy, like from 0 to 6 months. Dude, my favorite time. That's why I love Athena so much, because she looks like Aries did when he was like 4 to 8 months,
Yeah.
like that size. And Aries was a little bit more like puffier, like and still kind of baby fat like type. So he looked so cute. But yeah, obviously he's much bigger now. He's 103 pounds now. Actually, he lost 7 pounds. So he's never gotten over 112. He fluctuates 103 to 112. And it's really how much I feed him. Like, I control how much he's gonna eat.
Yeah.
Athena's leaning out,
Yeah.
dude. Like she was 72 a few months ago. She's 73 now, but looks a lot leaner.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we fixed her, so she's just different, happier. She's just happier.
It's happy.
Yeah.
Going.
good.
Nice. Well, recap.
So in order to de-stress, breathing, exposure to hot and cold, vitamin D, we did touch on that one, but that one's also a huge one.
Yeah.
Just taking vitamin D or getting out in the sunlight, because vitamin D is very, seasonal depression. So if you have
Yeah.
deficiency in vitamin D, depending on where you live, they actually have seasonal depressive disorder, and it's a real thing. Because like when I went to school, I was upstate New York. The sunshine maybe
Cabin
once.
fever. That's the one I
Oh
was thinking.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd see the sun maybe once a month, maybe.
God.
And it was just like, I mean, like you can't see it right now, but it's all overcast and gray, and you don't want to go outside because it's negative 30 degrees. Why would you go anywhere near the outside world? You're just inside all the time. So people would get the vitamin D deficiencies, and they would start getting depressed and just obviously sick and things like that. It's never good.
Angry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Another good de-stressor, I mean, we've been talking about our pets a lot, but I mean, it's hanging out with your animals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I've been
Very
playing
much
with the
true.
cats, like if I need
Letting them
to get
sleep
away.
with you
Yeah.
Mhm.
is good.
Oh, it makes me feel so good. Like I'll fall asleep on the couch because I've been doing that a lot lately. I come home and I'm like, "Bleh."
Yeah.
And I wake up and all 3 of them are on me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, I'm so warm, it's so cozy, and I love it. Like it's awesome. Like it makes me feel good.
Yeah. I mean, they think about it. Like they say, cuddling or hugging or things like that decrease blood pressure and things like that.
Increases what, oxytocin?
Oxycontin.
Oxycontin.
Yeah. It's got to be Oxycontin's the drug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started thinking, I'm like, that does not sound right. I'm pretty
it's
sure
like
that's not what he's
Oxycontin.
thinking.
Yeah, it's definitely the drug, man.
Yeah. I know. It's the drug.
I'm pretty sure the oxytocin is what I think you're trying to. Yeah,
So it was.
I think it's oxytocin.
Now, which one did I say?
You said oxytocin.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Everybody's like, I don't know what we're talking about today.
Yeah,
I'm Googling it.
I
It's
definitely.
this weather, man. It's got us all messed up.
Yeah, no, I'm starting my vitamin D. I started actually this morning. I walked by my supplement rack and I was like, I need to up my vitamin D. So I'm starting that today. And I'm going to do
I've been
10,000.
taking that.
10,000 a day.
So, but I'll up mine. I think that'll be good. I mean, I've been feeling pretty good because I've just
Yeah.
been taking the one, just because I know I'm already usually kind
Yeah,
of low
yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't usually spend time outside. But I started taking that and I've been feeling pretty good.
And I'm doing the vitamin C as well.
Yeah, that's
Vitamin
good.
C. A shitload of vitamin C. Did you get it?
That's not. Sleeping with pets in October. That pops up. Not
It's a
whenever.
movie, probably.
Yeah. Well, no, well,
Or
October
podcast.
2016.
Someone's podcast.
Let me see.
Here's why sleeping with your dog is actually good for you.
I think it's because your breathing patterns match up in a sense, and they have,
That makes sense.
right? So they have better breathing patterns than most of us.
Did not yeah, they did a study. Let's see, how many people?
They did a study to study the study.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin.
Yeah, one theory is that, because what I typed in was, what hormone does hugging increase?
There you go.
One theory is that stimulation of the vagus nerve triggers an increase in oxytocin levels. The hugging and oxytocin release that comes with it can then have trickle-down effects throughout the body, causing a decrease in the heart rate and drop in the stress hormones, cortisol, and norepinephrine.
So your fight or flight chills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, I do that sometimes though, where like if I'm having a really bad day, like when I got laid off from my job in June, I literally came home and I was like on the verge of crying, and David was like, "Oh, whoa, you're home early," and I was like, "I just need a hug. That's it. I don't want to talk. I don't want anything. I just need a hug." Literally the first thing, and I calmed down, and I, kind of was like, "Okay, now this is what's happened," just because I was like, I need a hug. Like, have you ever just like needed a hug? And that's your body's way of being like, you need to calm down. You need to kind of bring it together. And so it's just like, that's it. I just want you to sit there and I want you to squeeze me. That's it. Just squeeze me, because I was so on the verge of just like breaking down and having just like a really bad, meltdown.
Did you find the drug?
I didn't find the drug, but 83% increase in sleep efficiency by sleeping with your dogs.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's the theory that they talk about in here is your body adapts.
So they know it helps, but they don't know specifically why it helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're saying humans accommodate the needs of their bed partner in an effort to promote sleep in a manner that even the most well-trained dog does not. So sleeping with a person or sleeping with a dog will actually increase your ability to get a deeper, higher quality sleep.
I do sleep better. When the cats come and sleep with me, I do sleep better. Because, like, I don't move. Because I usually don't move very much to begin with. But I usually sleep, like, with my legs like a 4. And usually Poof or Jax will sleep in the little crater that my little leg will create. So one of them will sleep there. The other one will sleep in, because I literally sleep like a teapot is what I sleep like. One of them will sleep here. One of them will sleep in the little crook in my knees. And
so
if Sphinx comes in and sleeps too, she'll sleep right between David and I. And I won't move. And I kind of just have to go, okay, I'll relax, and that's it. I will stay there all night long, and I will sleep soundly. Unless, of course, they start fiddling with each other because they get mad at each other because they're in each other's spot. But
You're touching me.
and it's exactly like small children.
Quit mouth breathing.
Quit mouth breathing.
My
But
dog's
yeah.
just too big to go. Oh, Athena can fit if I get on the side and I like hug her.
Yeah.
But obviously Aries is not. But dude, it's so funny because he knows when he's in our room sleeping, he usually sleeps with Zared, but when he somehow sneaks out of Zared's room and comes into ours, he'll, the alarm goes off around 4:30 every single night. Just gets on the bed and lays down on top of my legs. So I just feel this, and I'm like, okay, I have to wake up soon.
I can't go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as my alarms go off, like Poof is the one who comes in and she from the bottom of the bed, right up in my face, meow, meow, meow. I'm like, what? And then she gets louder and louder, and she'll start digging at the blankets because she's like, your alarm's going off. Get up. You usually go to the bathroom because she loves sitting in the bathroom in the mornings for some reason. I don't know why.
She was watching you.
She likes to sit on the mats. She doesn't do anything. There's nothing for her to do in there. But she goes in, sits right in front of the shower. I'm like, you're a weirdo.
She's meditating.
Yeah.
She just sits there. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So she goes, she gets up, sits outside the bathroom, and she's like, meow, meow, meow. I'm like, all right, looks like I'm getting up. Like,
It's like, now it's time.
yeah.
Crazy. So we challenge you guys to practice breathing through your nose in and out. Or if you find that too hard, just be aware of your breathing.
Do you guys have any good like YouTube links that you might
I
be
know
able to
Tony has a
put?
few.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Cool.
put some here. Some breathing
Awesome.
stuff
Yeah, we'll put those in the
in the description, just like last time.
the description and stuff. So yeah, I think that's good. Honestly, I feel like you guys are right though. I mean, the easiest and honestly the most effective is breathing.
Yeah.
You should do it anywhere. You know, a sauna, you have to go to a place, cold pool, a cold shower.
Especially when
Yeah.
when stress is high, do it then, because
Yeah.
the stress will start to ease.
Yeah, like I said, when I've got like crazy amount of homework going on and I can feel myself starting to panic, I just push my homework away for a second, I breathe, and then I can go back into it,
Yeah.
versus just letting that stress build and then it doesn't go away. So, definitely the easiest thing you can do.
Or get a pet.
Or get a pet.
She's got Steve still.
I still have Steve.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't take her, Steve. Let's be honest. Just leave Steve there.
Steve's happy. Steve doesn't want to go with you.
Don't cause
Steve wants to stay with Stefanie.
Yeah.
He's so funny though,
And that's
because
that.
like
Stress out
he
Steve.
loves to cuddle up into your neck and like get all like right here, and then he starts getting like antsy, and I can always tell when he's going from cuddle mode to I want to play, because he starts squeaking, and it's hilarious because he's like brr, 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 and he's like meep 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 meep. I'm not even kidding. And I'm like, okay, back on the floor because you're about to like tear through the house. He's like, I'm like, okay.
See, you've already got all those patterns on. You can't give them away.
I can tell everybody what the patterns are. No big deal.
It's not the same.
That's the thing.
Stop.
You're gonna cause them more stress. It's all about limiting stress.
You know what? We should come with a collar or something that's gonna make her keep them.
Yeah. Well, by then she'll already have the collar. She'll have like a sweater for Steve.
A sweater for Steve. Oh my gosh.
And that's why
Oh
she's
my
gonna
gosh.
At
keep
least a
Steve.
stocking for Steve.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Do you know what you guys want to talk about next week?
Surviving the holidays, probably.
Yeah, let's
That
talk
is an
about that.
excellent topic. I think that'll be
Surviving
fun.
the holidays, just everything.
Yeah.
From shopping to dealing with bad influences,
Yeah.
like relatives
Oh god.
or friends. Just knowing how to kind of set boundaries.
Yeah,
I think that's
good.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that'll be out.
That'll be out
Black Friday.
So I mean, it'll be a fraction behind, but it still gets you through all the Christmas parties,
Yeah,
holiday
it's-
parties.
Well, even then,
New
like,
Year's
yeah,
parties.
Thanksgiving is just the tip of the iceberg for the rest
Yeah.
of the, end of year holidays. So
Yeah. So we
Because then
want
it's
to
like-
get back on track.
Because then there's New Year's still
I was
too.
gonna say exactly New Year's, and then right after New Year's is Valentine's Day.
and St. Patrick's Day. And
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of nonstop
Every day.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a downhill spiral from here.
Ridiculous.
Cool.
All
Well,
right,
thank you guys very much
Awesome.
for listening
Thank
in
you.
on our very sporadic table talk today.
Hey, if nothing else was entertaining and laughter decreases stress.
Yeah, absolutely. Laughter decreases stress. That's true.
Oxycontin.
Oxycontin. Oh my gosh.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin.
Just
Oxycontin decreases stress as well.
I'm sure. Oh, my goodness.
All right, guys. See you next week. This is Isaac.
This is Anthony.
This is Stephanie. Thank you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Thanks for checking us out. If you like this, go ahead, like it, share it, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram.